Good evening, my dear viewers. Welcome to live talk session of Global Education and Training Institute. I would like to welcome our esteemed guest, Ms. Sharina Pudus. She is presently working as head mistress of MS Education, Telangana. She is from the background of biochemistry. She did her master's in biochemistry and she wants to do many challenging things in her life. She is having a total experience of 13 years working with multinational companies like Genpact, Bank of America as a project developer and process leader and software skills trainer. So it will be really nice to hear from Ms. Sharina Pudus about the education and languages. So over to you, Ms. Sharina,
Yeah,
and a very
thank you
warm
so much,
welcome to
Anna
you.
ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much, Anna ma'am. That was a very good intro that you have given. So once again, I welcome you all. And I feel really honored, so that I'd be able to put across my word through this esteemed platform here. So whoever is landed up here, whoever is listening, I'm sure they are associated with student teachers. Okay, we are here for the development of our students, their academic progress. Actually, we are here for their academic progress. Okay, we have aspiring and inspiring teachers coming up to help the students around during these difficult times. Not only during these difficult times, but this age old process of helping the students across. Okay, we are here as the teacher or the educator. We act as a catalyst in our students life. Okay, and we do believe that these students have that right to get access to effective education. So so as of today, I thought of speaking about this time, whatever is given to me. I thought, we as teachers, we create an open environment in our classroom, having 20, 25 students across. We expect them to absorb, and we expect them to understand everything in one go, as we say. In the background, I mean, just in our background, we do truly believe, we know that each and every student's capability are different. Okay, we are very much aware, but still, in the time given, in the stipulated time, in the syllabus given, in the duration of that particular course and all, we believe that student will accept, engulf and grasp everything whatever we are saying, but we are not correct. We know that the understanding of each and every child is difficult. Okay, in 20, 25 members of classroom, we have few students who are not to that level, as of plus A category or B category or C category. So it's just depending upon their understanding. I'm not categorizing the students depending upon their grades. However, I'm trying to categorize the students depending upon their understanding levels. There is a student who can understand very much easily. He is able to understand everything because he has his mother to help him across, maybe a few of the children, they go to tuition to have that extra time, because everyone might not have that special attention from the teacher. But we as teachers, is that only our job, that we let the students go to tuition and understand the part that they haven't understood? No, we cannot do that. We as educators, we can take that extra step, that extra mile for our students, because our students feel that a teacher is outsmart than a parent when it comes to this teaching learning process. They feel that a teacher is much more, even though they have a parent at home who's a lawyer or a doctor. No, my teacher said this, my teacher has told this. So they feel and they consider that a teacher is more priority in this learning process compared to that of their mother or parents at home. So we as teachers, today my topic, I chose this topic, academic interventions for languages, because language is a base. If you are if you have a very good language understanding capacity, writing, learning, on the base that it stands, the language has a base that it stands, the four pillars of it, that is LSRW pillars. If they are very good at it, then I'm sure they'll be able to master the other subjects as well. So here today I've chose this topic to talk about academic interventions for languages. That is, if a student is having a trouble understanding at the beginning itself, see, after a very long time, maybe when he is in his ninth, 10th, or plus two, then it becomes very far for us to come back to the basic level and teach. However, when they are at their basic level, when we program them, okay, we try to train them, mold them, then it is very easy, very simplified, in a very simplified manner we can get it done. So here I've chose the topic academic interventions for languages. This is my topic. Okay, so when I say intervention, you might be like, all the students don't need intervention. All of the students who are in a class, one is a topper of the class, the other may be good at sports, okay, the other may be good at art, okay, the other may be good at some other thing. Okay, so everybody doesn't need an intervention. So basically, what is an intervention? If I come to the definition, the bookish definition, if I come, intervention, it's a pragmatic approach, that we are approaching a student pragmatically, okay, that is designed to produce academic growth. So we are approaching them to produce academic growth in a student or an individual. Now, this is the bookish, like a definition for an intervention. However, if I want to put it across for a lame person, then I would say that intervention, it is a program that is designed in such a way, keeping one particular person in mind, or maybe four or five children that are lagging behind in the class. So we are designing a program so that this particular group, this particular set of children, okay, these particular set of children, they are here, they will be able to understand better whatever they are learning. They will be able to understand in par with the A category student in the class. Okay, so for a layman, I would say intervention, it is a program which is defined, okay, which defines, okay, the effective use of conversational context. When I talk about, because I choose languages, when we are able to converse with each other, when the student is able to communicate with the other person, then he is able to visualize and represent it. So that is the difference between the bookish language, which talks about we are approaching to the students in one go, okay, and when we are intervening in their process, when their process has been intervened by us as teachers, then they will achieve that level, so that they don't need that extra push from the parents. So I have a short PPT that I can share with you, wherein the process, now that I told it is a program, so how to process it is in this PPT. So just a minute here. So one, so here is my PPT. Give me some time while I'm just trying to pull up the PPT here. So this particular PPT, it talks about, so here it is. Yeah. So the first thing, academic, as I told you, my topic is academic interventions for languages. So here, what's an intervention is just what I spoke about. This just to give you a visual representation of what I was talking all this while. So it's a pragmatic approach, that is, we are approaching the children so that we approach them in such a way that they increase their academic growth. Okay, it can be in any other individual or a student. So in a layman's word, so it's a program which defines the effective use of conversational context. Whatever we are talking, whatever our topic is about, the student will understand everything, absorb in everything, depending upon the linguistic forms. Now coming to the, so now we know that what is intervention, we know it. So what is now, why is the intervention, we are trying to intervene in his learning process so that he can perform better. If he was in the 50%, he could get to 70%. How is this? So for that, we need to set some standards, like you can see on the screen there. For academic standards in languages, there are a few things that we need to check in. First, like, you have to start doing this at a very tender age, I told you. While there is also a saying, or there is also a thing in Hindi where they say, jab geeli mitti hoti hai, then we can turn it, mold it into a proper form. So children can be molded very soon. So first, it starts at the basic level. So first, the student has to understand, is he able to understand or identify the letters? Okay, if he's able to, like in the picture you can see that she has an index card with her. She's trying to ask the child if you identify this particular letter, or if it is with the subjects, then for math also, if are you able to identify the number, are you able to identify this particular diagram. So it depends on identification. So started from the basic level, so are you able to identify. Okay, because we are dealing with languages, if they are able to identify the letter, then he should be able, the next step is reading. You should be able, see, now you know A B C D words and all. Now you should be able to read it properly. Okay, the second step is when you are able to identify, the second thing is you'll be able to read it. Once you are able to read it, you will comprehend it. Comprehend means you try to understand, put it in short. Okay, जब आप उसको छोटा करके बोलते हो, you try to comprehend it. When you try to comprehend it, then you try to communicate it. When you know what it is, now you watched television show. Okay, you watched a television show, you watched a channel, you've seen a news, you understood the news, you identified that you wanted this, you have heard this, then you will try to communicate it. Communicate it in the sense, you have a brother and sister. Look, my dear brother, I've seen this on the television, I want to tell you something. So you're trying to comprehend it, I mean, you're trying to put it in short in the form of a story. Once you're able to put it in short, then you try to communicate it with your brother and sister, and you try to tell them. That is communication. Our next step. Once you are able to communicate, the next step will be, you will be able to visualize things and represent it. I mean, in continuation with that, you can, the next step is you will visualize it. If this happens, the next this is going to happen. The next this is going to happen. You will start using your mind to that level. So these are the academic standards that you need to keep in mind. First, you need to able to identify. Once you're identifying, you'll be able to read it. Once you're able to read it, then you will have to comprehend, put it in short. Then you will be able to communicate, then speak to a person near you. Once you are able to communicate, you will start, the next level is you will start visualizing it. Okay, you will start thinking on your own, and you will start putting across your own story to the other person. So this comes with academic standards in the languages. Now moving on after academic standards, the academic interventions for students. Now obviously, like I told you, whoever is landed up here, whoever is here is for the betterment of our own students, for our own children. So first here, why do we need intervention? Okay, why do these particular set of children, why do they need intervening? Why is their learning process not why everybody is not getting A plus? Because their ability is different. Each child's ability is different. So intervention is necessary to gain new skills. New skill is nothing but, for a person who is finding it difficulty to learn ABCD, for him learning ABCD is a skill. Okay, the same thing. So intervention is necessary for us to learn new skill. For example, a child is having tough time learning trigonometry problems, or a child is having tough time learning the grammar. So what do? We need to intervene, we need to help them, we need to give them that extra support and hand. Okay, so that you learn this. So first we need intervention. Intervention is necessary because you need to learn or acquire new skills. Like I told you, everybody doesn't need intervention. The person who doesn't need he already has that skill. He needs to enhance that skill. When you know what trigonometry problems are, you should be able to solve them. When you know what the grammar is, you should be able to put it in your day-to-day language and show it. So somebody who doesn't know it, you will learn it. Intervention necessary to acquire new skill. Somebody who already has that skill, you can sharpen that skill, or you can enhance your skill. Okay, once you know it, once you are trying to sharpen it, the third step is you will generalize it and put it into practice. Okay, after your skill increase in your fluency and all, after your that is whatever your skill you have, you've sharpened your skill, you've enhanced your skill, then you need to generalize it, which means you need to put it in your practice day on and on. You will have to repeat it in your own way, so that it becomes so common that you will never forget it in your life. So these three steps, why intervention is necessary: to learn something new. If you already know that thing, you will have to enhance that, which means you will have to take it to the next level. Once you have taken it to the next level, you will make it so common that there will come a point that, oh, once upon a time I did not know trigonometry problems. If you know it, when you have put it into practice, then you will forget it. You have to generalize it in such a way that you will forget it, that there was a point of time when you didn't know it. So that is the reason why interventions are necessary. So next, after why, now who needs intervention? Like that bunch of students, when you know these are the particular set of children that need my extra support, that needs my extra help. So these children, now you will have to set a timetable. Timetable means you have to understand that, like for today, you are starting with four children. You have four children in your hand. They are lagging behind with your grammar. They are not having proper sentence or construction of a particular story construction. They're not able to do because the sentence formation is really bad. So you know where to work on. Now you know where to work on. These are the children. Now first you will have to maintain, like today if you're starting with them, how much time can you give daily? Will you be able to give 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour? What is the time that you will give? So daily you will not, daily it's not possible because the teacher is there 40 minutes in the class. Okay, or maybe in your free hour or something you will be able to give time. Okay, so every day it's not possible. The 40 minutes extra whatever you are giving, how many times in a week are you giving? Will you be able to give it once, twice, thrice? How much time will you be able to give it? So first, how much time? Then how frequently you will be able to give it? After how frequently you will be able to give it, what is the duration? Yani this frequency, this much time for this much frequency, will you be able to give it in for 3 months, for 6 months, for 1 year? So everything before you start, you need to prepare this timetable because you are dealing with a student. Okay, you are giving your time, you're taking that particular student's time. You've told their parents that this particular boy is going to do better in the next 6 months. You need to stand on it. So always have the time frame in hand. Like every day if you're able to give 20 minutes, 3 times or 4 times in a week, duration for 3 months or 6 months. So have that particular thing in mind before you are working with the student. I mean, you need to have that clarity. And because it is with student, the ratio, student teacher ratio, like I told you, in each class depending upon the class size, one class is 20 to 25 members, the other class has 30 to 35 members. But in that, everybody, 15 students you can't have. 15 students can't be your slow learners. 15 students can't be the students who you will be able to intervene, because you'll not be able to do justice with it. If it is 15 students that you're working with, that 20 minutes of time, how many 20 minutes will you dedicate for 15 students? So they should you should maintain a ratio. As a teacher, understand, okay, these are the four children who actually need my help. They do not have any other. If I give my helping hand to them, they are going to make a difference. That is going to make a difference in their academic growth. So that four students, 4 or 5 students, for a maximum 6 to 7 students, you can have the ratio will be 1:6 or 7, or 1:4 or 5 is very much okay. Okay, then after that, now, matching the intervention to the student problem. Like I told you, intervention can be of several types. It can be for languages, it can be with maybe the boy is not very good at reading. Okay, he has very good understanding capacity, but that the B and D he gets confused with. Okay, and he gets confused with reading. He's not good with reading. Or there will be a problem like there's a child who will not be able to write. He's very good, he's a very quick learner, he learns everything, he grasps everything, he has answers just on his fingertips. Okay, just on his tip of the tongue he gives the answers, but he's not able to represent on the paper because he has a very bad handwriting. What happens, end of the day, we have a pen and paper test. Your marks will decide where you stand. Okay, so first you have to understand what is the problem, the student's problem. What is the problem? Reading, writing. Okay, is it speaking, or is it not an attentive listener? What is the problem? Because here we are dealing with languages. This is, if it is with subject math, is geometry his problem, algebra, trigonometry, what is his problem? Okay, so what is the problem? You need to be definite about it. Once you know the problem, okay, he's not good at I mean, he's not good at writing because his grammar skills are very weak, because his grammar is very weak. So what you can set the target now. Your target is set. Okay, so in 3 months of time, I need to teach him grammar. He needs to learn talk this is grammar he needs to learn. So once you identify the problem, then what is your target? You know it as a teacher, because you know the syllabus, you are very much aware about the curriculum and all, so you know what is your target. Now problem is done, target is done. Now the third thing, which is the most important, you need to identify the student. Is he real? Can't do, won't do, like I have written in the PPT there. Can't do, won't do. They're two different things with a lot of meaning. Can't do means the student is really not capable. The capacity, student's capacity is low. Won't do means the student is capable enough, however he is not doing it because of so on and so forth reasons. So can't do and won't do, first identify it and try to bribe him, like incentives and reward. Who doesn't like incentives and reward if you're working very hard? If the particular child is able to give to your, if you're intervening, he's doing performing better, he's falling up to your expectations, do reward him, do give him incentives. And it also works the other way around. I mean, if you're trying to I mean, if he's not coming up to your expectation level, okay, you are expecting that this particular child in this particular time he should learn this much, but he's not doing that. So maybe you can try to convince him, saying that you're doing good, you're actually doing good. He will still try to work on it and do better. If he was doing good, if you reward him, he's going to do better. So first, the student, first you have to identify what is the student lacking behind, what is that he's supposed to learn, then what is the target, you know it, and then you have to identify, you have to get to know it after talking to the child. Is he falling under the can't do, won't do category? And we need to act accordingly by giving incentives and rewards. Now coming next, intervention. Because I told you we are dealing with languages, it stands on four pillars: LSRW skills, that is listening, speaking, reading and writing. Four skills. So first, if somebody is having a trouble in reading, okay, if somebody is reading is not fluent enough, what are we supposed to do? The tips and tricks. Okay, so for reading fluency, first, word supply. Okay, if you are asking a student, come on, you stand up. Okay, come on Ahmed, you stand up, please read this paragraph. If he's not able to read, will you just stand there and watch for him because he's fumbling out there? Will you let him fumble? No, you are supposed to word supply, which means you need to help him with the word. Or if he's standing there, he heard something, he's trying to converse something with you, he's trying to communicate something, he's falling short of words. No, we are not going to just observe like that as an educator. We will help him with the words so that he feels confident enough and he'll be able to continue. Okay, after the word supply, then sentence repeat is nothing but, if you are in a class, if you're asking them to learn something, come on student, by heart this, learn this, learn this, learn this, he will not learn. If you want the student, if you want to introduce new words to the student, you use it, generalize it in such a way that the student, no, instead of saying keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet, I want silence in the class. If you want them to learn the word, keep quiet. If you want to learn silence, maintain silence, maintain silence. If you tell this 10 times, tomorrow when you come, he will say maintain silence. I mean, it's just an example. If there is a word that you want the student to learn, so what you can do is you need to keep on repeating that. You need to repeat that word so that the student understands. So first is word supply, sentence repeat. We as an educator, if we keep on repeating it, it becomes a habit for the children that he is also going to use it. Now word attack hierarchy. Now here word attack hierarchy is nothing but I mean, if there is something that the student pointing out in a positive way. If it's doing it something, maybe pronunciation is wrong, maybe it's not doing it in the correct way. So you attack it and say that no, this is not the way, this is the correct way. So that is word attack hierarchy. Try another way. If it's trying to say something but it's not falling in the correct category, if it's not doing it in the correct manner, no, this is not going. And instead of every time you giving out the answer, every time you telling it's not the correct way, you take, so this is not the correct way. Try changing it, pronounce it in a different way. So you're just hinting it here. At times you've supplied words, you've repeated the sentence, you've told this is wrong. Okay, in a very polite way, you've told this is wrong. The next time you have to try. No, no, dear, this doesn't sound correct. Can you just change your way? Try another way. Change your way and see. He will try to change his way and see. Because every time we cannot use the same, the same technique for the student to learn. Next. Now we can also play a game like finish the sentence and guess the word. Okay, we usually have it in that is dumb charades what we play, and you try to enact it. You try to enact it. Here we are not enacting being an educator. You try to give them a hint. You try to give them a hint that is a small. It's like a puzzle kind of a game what you have. So you finish the sentence and you say what am I talking about? No, that's a comb. Okay, so a kind of puzzle game you give it, so the student identifies it, and when you are playing the game like a puzzle game, he will not forget it, which means that is registered in his mind. And next, if there is a tough word that the student is not able to read, always it is advisable to break the word and read. So these are the interventions which a student is having difficulty in reading. Okay, once again, first it is you are supplying the words to the children. Okay, then you are repeating the sentence. At times you have to repeat the sentence for the kid to learn. Then you have to tell them, no, what you're telling is word attack hierarchy. You're telling is wrong. Say this is the correct one. Every time we cannot say this is wrong, this is wrong. Say no, this doesn't sound correct. Can you try your way and see? This is not correct. Can you change it? So he himself will come up with an answer. Oh no, this is not this. This is this. Okay, finish the sentence. That is, finish the sentence and guess the word. At times you can play that, and always advisable is to break the word into simpler ones so that it's easy to read. So this was all about your reading fluency. Now, with reading fluency, these are the games that we play. Apart from that, for reading, what you need to do is, once you have to have an accomplished reader read it. Like if I am the teacher, I have to portray how to read it. I mean, what is the correct way? What is the correct pronunciation for the word in that paragraph? So first, the accomplished reader will read it, like model reading, what we say. So first I'll model read it. I will ask the student to listen to me carefully, and then he has to read it, and we need to give the feedback. Paired reading. Okay, obviously now as a student teacher ratio, I told 1:4 or 5. So there is paired reading. The two people are reading. One person is reading, and the other person, you follow it. You put your finger and follow it. Once he's done reading, you're going to start it from there, and he will follow. He will follow the reading correctly, carefully, so that he will read it. I mean, this also will kind of create confidence and interest. Okay, after paid reading practice, the more you read, the more accomplishment in the terms of reading you get to. I mean, you can get to perfection by practicing more and more. Repeated reading. If you are not, see, we are not all masters here. Okay, any student is not a master. The very first time you can't expect him to give his 100%. So repeatedly, you read it in front of, you ask him to read it in front of you. You give him a task, go home, try reading it once. Morning, get up in the morning, read it once. That is called repeated reading. So after reading practice, if you still find it difficult, repeat it. Choral reading, like the name itself say, chorus. When you are in the class, that is how we all learned our tables, and we never forget it. That is how we learned our ABCD, and we never forget it. Chorus, when you're doing it together with the others, you never forget your songs. Okay, or maybe the assembly, the prayers, what we do in chorus, that is 4 or 5 members together, or complete group together, you will not forget it. So these are a few tips for the reading practice. And one more thing is, if you're trying to teach in a class, if you're trying to teach that slow learner a story, so every time it can't be simply a paragraph or so. If you're trying to teach the slow learner a lesson. Okay, if you're trying to teach a lesson, what you need to do is, at times you can create a story map of it. So here I created a story map of Goldilocks and the three bears. Okay, so I mean, you will have, what is the setting like? So what is it all about? This, what is the theme all about? That this Goldilocks going to a forest, there she finding the bears. So you are having, what is the theme like? Okay, initiating event. Initially, what happened? Okay, then after that, what was the response? Initially, what happened? She entered the house of a bear. She was surprised to see there were three bowls of porridge, but there was nobody. Okay, so you can do this, like having short headings, small subheadings and all, so that the student will better understand what a story map is like. So I mean, a lesson, rather than you simply telling, long ago there was this girl, one day she went. You create a story map, like in science we do. That is, you have your pie diagrams and social, and in science you have your classifications and all. So in English also you can break it for a better understanding. So you can also, for reading practice, you can also create a story map. So after a story map, to test how much the particular child has understood, you can prepare a worksheet. Now the story is done. So what is the main theme? What is the sideline? What happened at the end? You've created, so this kind of a story. See, what is the theme? What is the initiating event? What is the plot like, goal, outcome? What happened at the last? What is the resolution? That is Goldilocks ran away and all. Everything you have side-headed, everything you had side headings, subheadings, and you've explained it. Next, to understand, that is for you to understand how much the student has grasped from your way of teaching. So you need to create a worksheet. I know every lesson creating a worksheet is different, but we as teachers, as educators, if we are doing that extra thing for a student so that he can learn better, so isn't our responsibility? Yes, it is. So at times creating a worksheet is very much important to see. See, every time oral doesn't work. So in the oral, many people raise a hand, then we give them a chance, and the ones who are left behind are always left behind. So creating a worksheet and asking them to do it in written. Okay. So moving on, there's a classroom library. Reading, where does reading all start from? Library. Okay, now in western countries you will see when their people are traveling, when they are not that is a time, they indulge into reading. But these days everybody is with phone. In India we are lagging behind in reading. So we can create a classroom library, because we have the time, like student have that time where the teacher is if the teacher is absent, if they have that extra time. Okay, maybe if not all 20 students who are will get interested in reading just because you have a library in the classroom, but maybe if it is going to help one or two children also, it will help. So this is one of the pictures from our school at where I work, that every class they do have a library. Okay, the students, they themselves donate the books apart from the books what the school provides. Okay, like every birthday you're supposed to put a book. Okay, and if you take a book, then you need to put another book. Like for example, if you want to read one book, you will have to replace it with another book. So this create the small things, this create interest in the children to read. And the moment you start reading, then your reading gets better and your fluency increases. So that is what we aimed for, right? Fluency in reading. And apart from that, you can create a mind map. Apart from the story map, you can also create a mind map. Now, for the next generations, mind maps are actually used by multinational companies to simplify things for a better understanding. Okay, we do use it in our education academy where I work, MS Education Academy. Each and every child, even if you go to a first class child, okay, 4 or 5 years old, sorry, a 6 or 7 years old also will draw a mind map. This is a mind map of first class. A teacher, she's done it on the blackboard. Okay, she's done it on the blackboard to explain this lesson. Okay, and this lesson, I tell you, this mind map covers the whole of the lesson. So here, Mother of Believers, that is the lesson name. Mother of Believers is the lesson name. Who is it all about? Okay, and where was okay? It's about Hazrat Aisha Raziallahu Taala. Okay, where was she born? Okay, where was she born? 1 second. Sorry, yeah, where was she born? Okay, and what are the qualities? Who is she is wife of, daughter of? So complete information in one mind map. This will also give visual stimulus to the student who is reading it. So this is another way to increase the proficiency in reading for the children. So any one of it you can do it. So we have a story map, we have a library, word attack. So all these things, if at all one thing at one particular lesson you start doing also, then we have achieved it. Okay, then moving on next. How? Now we reading proficiency, we've all seen what are the different things that we can help a student learn better, read better. Now monitor. See, you're doing everything, but if you're not monitoring, where is it going? It's all going in vain. So monitoring on a regular basis is actually quite necessary. So first you need to develop a checklist. Now in particular class, if you're entering into a class or if you're having this bunch of students whom you're working with, you will have to see what are their common errors. Okay, is a spelling mistake, is there error? Grammatical mistakes, okay, or maybe they are not able to write it properly. What are the common errors that the child is making? Once you have identified the error as an educator, you will introduce that checklist. See, my dear child, this is a mistake that you're always making. Here you are lagging behind. Here we are working. You introduce that checklist. You work on the child. And after working on the child, see, every week we will try to gauge how you are doing, how better you are doing every week. So after that exam, you will give your honest feedback. And after it, you will always praise and encouragement. Who doesn't like praise? We as elders also, if somebody praise you look beautiful, you feel happy enough. So wherever the child is standing, you need to praise them. Give an honest feedback, starting with a praise, and encourage the child. So this implies with monitoring. Now after that, as I told you, we're done with the reading process. Now writing. See, as important as reading is, writing is also equally important, because we are still in that era where 100 years back and 200 years back, that is, the students used to be judged upon how much they have written, how good marks they have got, pen and paper test. End of the day, we are still believing in that pen and paper test, right? No, I knew it, but I was not able to write it. Who knows it? Okay, the moment what is your marks, that is what shows how capable you are. So writing is very much important for speak. While you are speaking, how your fluency counts, your handwriting also equally counts. Okay, that counts with your academic performance, because it pleases the eye of the evaluator. If somebody is evaluating, if a beautiful handwriting comes, you tuck tuck tuck, you just feel like giving marks, which means it pleases the eye. Okay, it gives a positive impression. Hey, wow, that's a beautiful handwriting, it gives a positive impression. Okay, just like fluency, like how I told, just like fluency, a good handwriting is also equally important for the child to earn and grow in an academic progress. Then after that, writing. So first, to start with writing, identification, like how for reading also identification of letters was important, for writing also identification of letter is quite important. After having identification, then model writing. These days we are having books, your 4 old books that are very much available. So model writing, I mean directional modeling is there. I mean, does he have to go towards the left side, does he have to go towards the right side? So that is called as directional modeling, which direct to go. See, when we were kids, when we were in our upper KG and lower KG, we didn't know. All our parents, all us, that is, our teachers taught us that you are supposed to write A like this, and we've done it 100 times and learned it. But this time it's not the same. The lines also have the names, that is standing line, vertical line, horizontal line, slanting line. That's how my children, I've taught my children in the same way. So that is called as directional modeling. First you've identified it, then you have modeled it directionally. Imitation practice, that is what we have done growing up, we have learned growing up, that is imitation practice. I mean writing it, scribbling it on it 101 times, so that you don't forget how to write A, how to write B and C. Okay, and practice. With practice everything is possible. Reading, writing, a very much bigger game also is possible with practice. Then why not a child can read and write with this? So first we need to identification. After identification, the directional modeling, I mean going towards left or right, which kind of slanting line, or is it a straight line or a vertical line and all. So that is how we teach it. Then imitation, which means you write and give it, you ask the student to write over and over it many more times so that he understands it. And then practice. After practice, these are the points that we have set across. And effective evaluation, which means if the child is going wrong, tell him, no dear, this is not the way, you're supposed to do it in this way. We have to give them effective and valuable feedback. You cannot hide the feedback. You cannot be sweet every time and expect the child to learn it in a better way. So that is not possible. So effective evaluation, then and there you're supposed to tell this is correct, this is wrong, so that he will not make mistake going forward. Okay, this was about the interventions about writing. And I would like to end interventions of writing with a quotation with Mahatma Gandhi has told. Okay, and he has told that a person with a bad handwriting is like half educated person. So which means Mahatma Gandhi ji truly believed that a good handwriting I mean it designates the personality trait of a person. Okay, there are a few scholars available wherein they understand what kind of a person are you looking at your handwriting. Okay, so it is very much a part of your personality trait also. So now coming to, so we are done with our reading and our writing skills. Now coming to our listening and speaking skills. Our listening and speaking skills always go hand in hand. Okay, like either or and either not, they always go together. So for listening and speaking skills, there are many more games that we can play with the children so that they learn it in a fun way. We are not burdening them. But for a class like 2025, learning it, teaching every time in a fun way, every day playing a game might not be possible. But now that the student teacher ratio is only 1, 4 is to 5, then very easily you can play the game and in a fun way you're teaching it, and you're also going that extra mile. So here, when it comes with listening and speaking, first I have spoken about cartoon speech. So I just want to show you a few pictures out here. See, look at this picture out here. These are a few pictures that we use at the school there. We give this. These are like laminated ones. We give it to the children and we ask them to speak about it. Okay, this is the cartoons. Like you can see there are two chickens out there. They're looking in the KFC bucket searching for their relatives. How funny is it? The student, they themselves start laughing, and they try to build this. And like we make groups. Okay, you have a 20-25 classroom. You ask three to pair up or five to pair up, and you give them a minute's time. What are they supposed to speak? 1 minute they're supposed to think, and 1 minute they're supposed to perform. So how do they perform? You will not imagine they can outsmart the teacher these days. The students and the kids are outsmarting the teachers these days. You might not come up with any time, but the students are very creative enough. Okay, you give them the time, you give them the opportunity, they will surely surprise you, I can say. Because when I have given this to the students at my school, they have really surprised me. I was I was enlightened the way they performed. Okay, so this is one of the cartoon. I would like to scroll down to show you. There's another one which shows anti WhatsApp pill, where one tablet for women and three times daily. So there's also another funny one, that these days each and every individual is stuck to the phone, to social media so much that they need some pills or something to stay away from it. Okay, these days a person can only go to bed once he switch off his light, but when he is switching off his data or is having his phone apart, then only he can go to bed. So that these are the small things that we can do for a student. You just take a Xerox copy of it and give it to the student, ask him to think about it, and you're supposed to perform in front of your class. I'm sure he's going to do wonders. So this is a small thing, but the first thing to talk about learning, and that is listening and speaking. First one is cartoon speaks. Coming to the second one, that sessions. Jam is not the jam that we apply on our bread, but jam session, it means just a minute, which means you give them a topic, 1 minute, and he's going to talk about it. He's going to talk anything related to that topic. This one, when you have given, when I've given it in my classroom, I've seen a lot of that is a student was able to show himself. The ones who were hiding their capability also were able to outshine in their performance. Like I have started with the topics like sports, cricket, football. These are the things that really, because I belong to a boys blog, so these are the things that are fascinating by boys, I can say. So these are the things that I've given it to the students, and they've really done very well. So jam sessions are very much, they will add to the games that you're playing with. They will improve and enhance the listening and the speaking skills. So depending upon what group of child that you're working with, if somebody is interested in football, maybe somebody is interested in going and playing outdoors, or maybe somebody who's interested in visiting a place. He's just been to some place yesterday. You might as well ask him to tell about that place. Tell me what you liked about that place. Tell me what was good about it. Tell me what could have been improved about it. He is going to actually stand up to your expectations and get it done. So you can either have cartoon speaks, jam sessions, and the third one is change the context. Change the context in the sense, because this is a language, you have many stories. Okay, you have stories out there which has obviously has an ending. Like for example, you take Tenali Rama's story. Every time Tenali Rama is supposed to be very smart enough. Okay, he gives ideal replies and all. He gives ideal replies. But here you can ask the children, dear child, if this is not the ending, what would be the ending like? If you want to give your twist of ending, what would that be? He will give you a very funny answer. Believe me, trust me on this and try on this. He will give you a funny answer. Okay, so every story has a perfect ending. But if you ask the student, see, this is not the end, this is not a proper ending. I mean, that is, a story writer has not done justice to this. If this story was written by you, what ending would you want? If you are having the capacity to change the ending, what would it be? So even here also, you will be surprised listening and looking at the answers what the students give. Our motto is to make them listen and speak, and they will do it with all these games in place. Okay, and change. Now this was change the context. Context means you're flipping across. Now if this was the answer was A, if you're asking A is not the proper answer, can you give another answer? He will flip you across and take you to Z. He will give you a Z answer. So this is changing the context. The fifth one is change the story. Change the story. When you enter the class, you want to engage the student. They just had a math class. You want to engage the student, and you start with a story. Okay, long ago there was a lion. When you say long ago there was a lion, and you leave it, each student has to tell one sentence. They will take it to stars, they will reach the moon, they will reach the they will go to submarine. I mean, you cannot imagine what wonders they are going to do. This is also another lovely game. The students love it, and you will also enjoy it equally, where your engaging session will not end in 5 minutes. Trust me on this. So this is about chain the story. Give visual stimulus. So visual stimulus, actually I do have something to show you all. You're talking about, yeah, visual stimulus are nothing but your placards or your index cards. Okay, preparing the story for a small child, preparing the story in 4 or 5 placards. Okay, you're trying to shorten the story in the form of placards, maybe drawing pictures here, like you can see here, tinkling coins. There's a vendor, there is a shopkeeper, he's trying to sell something, but the poor man, he doesn't have money. Now, coming for here, the moral of the story is for tit for tat. I mean, 3 or 4 placards, if your visual stimulus is nothing but you are giving something that is very pleasing to the eye of the reader. So he'll feel energetic. Every day, if you just take a pencil, that is your chalk and your board, that is not. These are not the children where we are coming from 20, 25 years back. What we have learned, just one teacher standing teaching with the blackboard and chalk piece, the children are outsmarting the teachers, like I just told. So we need to upgrade ourselves. We need to try several different ways that amuses our children out there. So visual stimulus is creating these placards here. And after visual stimulus, then we can also come up to our crossword puzzles. Okay, once upon a time when I was a child, this used to be in one of the sections of the newspaper where everybody was interested in doing it. But these days, hardly you find children playing crossword. They'd rather take a smartphone and play crossword on the phone. They're not interested in reading the newspaper across. So you can also play crossword with the children to create that interest. And after that, Scrabble. Yeah, Scrabble here and there. In schools you find it, or in homes you find it. So depending upon the interest of a child, you can use such games. So these are all about our listening and speaking skills. So once again, let me just go ahead with it, just to brush you through. So this is about our cartoon speech. So the first one is so to indulge a student into listening and speaking, we can either have cartoon speaks, our jam sessions, that is just a minute, change the context, change the story, giving visual stimulus, and word building games. So these are with the listening and speaking. So I believe we have covered 4 basic things that a language English stands on, or rather any language, you can say Telugu, Hindi or English also, that stands on 4 different things. That is listening, LSRW skills, listening, writing, reading and speaking. So these are the different things that you can try to attract the child more, that he increases his academic growth. So me as a teacher, everything a student is only responsible to do. As educators, as a teacher, what are we supposed to do? We supposed to, that is, we need to upgrade our subject. Like I told you, if you still have a chalk piece and you're standing in front of the board and trying to teach a student who is now able to operate a laptop, now able to operate a smartphone because of this pandemic, then you are wrong. You need to upgrade yourselves. You need to have that competency, that subject, your subject, you need to take it to the next level. And if you only have the subject, that's not enough. You're supposed to communicate. You're supposed to speak in such a way that the student wants to listen to you, that the student is attracted to the words that you're using and he wants to listen. If you are an English teacher and if you're not able to speak properly, he will not take interest in you. He would find rather the teacher in the next class is better than you. So we need to have the subject competency. If you have the subject, you need to know how to deliver it. Then classroom management. If you are a very good teacher, you are supposed to keep your students in place. If there is a hassle all around, how are you going to teach it? So classroom management is also very much important. Last but not the least, we as teachers, we need to have passion to serve, serving the community. This is the only one job, my dear friends, that I can tell you. It's not like what's in it for me. A doctor also, if this patient falls ill, he will have money, so he has his business. A lawyer, if you have a case, if he's losing by, then that gets him money. If it's a case, if he's falling behind, or he's getting more money if the dates are extended. I tell you, my dear friends, teacher is only a proficiency where after the parents, if somebody is praying for their well-being, it's none other than the teacher, because you taught them, you want him to excel, you want him to outshine. So passion to serve. So me as a teacher, these 4 things are as pillars for an English LSRW, like how I told, as a teacher, you need to have these four things in mind. That is your competency in your subject, your communication that should be effective, okay, your classroom management should be on to, and passion to serve. This I have written it at the last, but I think I would consider it the first, which means how much you want to give it to the community and the student, it's up to you. So this is all about I wanted to talk today, and I would end my session here by showing you a small short video clip. So just a minute here, I would want to show this video clip. Actually, it says it all. Okay, this video clip that I'm talking about will tell a few things probably that I missed out on you telling. Okay, so one second here. So I'm going to stop the share out here, and once again I'm sharing it. I'm taking you to the screen, the tab that I want to show the video here. So here we go. So there's a very beautiful thing. Please do
Albert
listen.
Einstein once said, everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run. Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they are stupid, believing they are useless? Well, the time has come, no more excuses. I call school to the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes my opening statement, and if I may present the evidence of my case, I will prove it. Proceed. Exhibit A. Here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today. And here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today. And here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now, ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie cutter snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap. Watch your language. Sorry, Your Honor. But if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results will be tragic. So many people will get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens, this educational malpractice, where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed. And let's mention the way you treat your employees. Objection overruled. I want to hear this. It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid. No wonder so many students are short-changed. Let's be honest. Teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid. But a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. just obsessed with standardized tests. They think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success. That's outlandish. In fact, these tests are too cruel to be used and should be abandoned, but don't take my word for it. Take Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, who said, and I quote, "These tests are too cruel to be used and should be abandoned." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade and change and do away with school spirit, because that's useless. Unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student, that should be our task. No more common core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days, teachers make a decent wage, homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Other places like Singapore are succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving. Because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams. There's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe. A world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I rest my case.
So, so that's it from my side. So that's the reason I say that intervention is necessary for all of us, because that is these bunch of students really do need us, because they don't feel like the fish showed in the video there. Well, thank you so much. I take it as completely a privilege that I was able to put my word across through this esteemed platform. Thank you so much, Zainab ma'am.
Thank you, Sharina ma'am. Thank you for such a lovely and enlightening session. And I would like to request my viewers, if they have any question, they can post in the comment box. And your session was like completely thorough and fulfilling, so I don't think so there is any need for any questions. You explained everything very well, LSRW, how to go about. And the best thing I like grabbed from your session was that you should, like a teacher should always work on identifying the problems of individual students, and the teacher should solve their problems individually or in a smaller groups, not as a whole. So because it becomes a problem for whole of the class to understand, like learn one thing again and again, and at times it becomes difficult for the weaker children who are not able to learn, difficult to learn new things, and the previously taught things are not clear to them. So I would like to thank my viewers and Sharina ma'am on behalf of Global Education and Training Institute. And as we all know, that Global Education Institute is always on the lines of transforming education. So we transform education through teachers training. And I would like you all to go to our website and check on our upcoming trainings, like the pre-service training in the month of April, and other in-service trainings that follow. And you can even call on the number given on our website. So that's all. Wish you all a very good night and thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.